Ohio's up next. First, we have Leon, who's got a question about coconut oil. Hey, Leon, thanks for the call. You are live.
Yes, I'm quite curious as to your thoughts in regards to coconut oil because I've heard that, of course, it's a medium-chain fatty acid and doesn't react in the body like the polyunsaturated oils.
Well, there's a difference there. You're right that it doesn't. Medium-chain fatty acids have a different reaction than the long chains do, but nonetheless, there's still an oxidative process that's going to happen, and it's only a matter of time until even coconut oil becomes oxidized. And this is our problem with oil generally. It's got nothing to do with hydrogenated or non-hydrogenated or long chain or short chain. It's the oxidative process that happens, right? Oxidative damage causes everything to die. I mean, that's the second law of thermodynamics. Everything decays, right? Everything decays, everything dies, everything enters into a state of dissolution. It's only a matter of time. Mountains turn to dust, iron turns to rust. Well, your body also decays, and one of the main players in the active degradation, natural degradation of tissue in the body is oxidative stress. Oxidative damage caused by an oxygen atom that's lost an electron, which is referred to technically as a free radical, right? So, you're right. Our whole thing here, man, is look, you're not going to go outside in a pouring rain or in a snowstorm in your bathing suit. You're not going to do that because that stress is going to hurt you. Yeah, you need to avoid as much as possible the stress of life, and you need to guard yourself against the stress of life that's inevitable. A lot of life stress is inevitable, but if you can guard yourself against it, strengthen yourself against it, it's a much better proposition. So this is why we have a blanket across-the-board prohibition on oil, because of the oxidative damage which ultimately must happen to the oil. Now, you can make the argument, and rightly so, that coconut oil oxidizes the slowest of all the oils, and it does. But, it still oxidizes. So, if you want to add oil into your diet, so what are your thoughts on this, Leon?
Well, I've read a whole book by, I think, a Dr. Fife about it. He claims it cures everything from headaches to hemorrhoids, and including using it topically.
Well, he's an MD, right?
I don't remember. I read the book. That's possible.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to consider, and this is an important thing to consider, right? I mean, the perspective that we bring to bear on data points is important, and if we miss a data point or two, our entire conclusions can be skewed. And the metaphor that I use all the time is, if you didn't really know anything about astronomy and you didn't know anything about the configuration of the solar system, you could go outside in your yard and measure the position of the sun in the sky every day, and you could predict with reasonable accuracy where the sun was going to be in the sky at any moment in time. And then, after collecting mountainous amounts of data, you could then reasonably conclude, well, hey, the sun moves around the earth. The earth is standing still, and the sun revolves around the earth. I mean, look, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It's the sun that's moving, you knucklehead. I can see it with my own two eyes. But you've neglected the big data point of gravity, right? You don't know anything about gravity. You don't know anything about mass attractions and gravitational fields and all of this. So you would be drawn to the wrong conclusion. And this is what happens frequently. Not all the time, but most of the time when MDs start to get their feet wet with the holistic waters, because they leave out huge data points which are necessary in order to draw a cogent, truthful conclusion. But because they don't know that they're leaving those data points out, it's like the colorblind art critic who doesn't know that they're colorblind. They're just going to go on criticizing the art. And so it's an interesting thing to talk about. But in any event, this is our rationale. It's like, look, avoid as many landmines or potential landmines as is humanly possible. So
that makes sense.
This is why we say, avoid the coconut oil. Now, you ever hear of Edgar Cayce?
Yes, I have.
Well, Edgar Cayce was a remarkable human being, right? The sleeping saint. And Edgar Cayce would go into a trance state, and he would do psychic readings on anybody anywhere in the world. He didn't even have to be in the same room with them. And he would then tell them, in his psychic fugue, so to speak, things that they needed to do to remedy their health conditions. And one of Edgar Cayce's all-time favorite, most used remedies was peanut oil. Peanut oil. He had remarkable success with it. And as God is my witness, I don't know why. So this question has always nagged me in the back of my mind. There has to be something going on with oil, above and beyond the negative effects of it from the oxidative stress point of view. But as God is my witness, I don't know what it is. It's interesting to think about, though, yeah?
Yeah, very interesting.
Hey, man, you're the greatest, Leon. I appreciate your call very much. Call me back anytime.
Thanks for the info.
I love questions like this. Yeah, it keeps me honest, keeps me on my toes.